steal money and bread and bring it back to the community to eat. But their intent is not to steal. It doesn't harm people. It in this world. It is not the object. It is not the object. It is not the action. It is the intent. It's very important to know. So on an absolute level, people like Mahasiddhas, and I'm giving you an idea, they do everything opposite of conventions. Not because they're there to break conventions or flout them. Is that we are not operating on an absolute level. We are the ones who are wrong and not right. We are the ones who don't do things correctly. So to us, they look wrong. Why? There are very few people who operate for the absolute. Hiroka Bhajan talks about Lama Yeshe. By the way, all of Lama Yeshe's books are in transcript form. It's the way he talks. And they're lightly edited by Nick Rivers for the last 30 years. All. Now, it says here, I was reading through it, now some of you might be wondering, what does this have to do with Dharma Protector practice? Oh my. The way that the Dharma Protector can help you is by samaya alone. That's all. If you break your samaya, the Dharma Protector will be 100% ineffective for you. For your business, for your family, for protection, for your attainments, for retreat, for money, anything you want will be ineffective. You can do all the things you want. You can take their statue and drown them in black tea. Nothing more. It is totally on your commitments. Yeah. So don't run around and steal from people and then go do your Dharma Protector practice. No effect. Very little. Don't sleep by Dharma teachings and then nothing goes in. You don't understand anything. You do Dharma Protector practice. It's just a game. Don't have fights with your lover and your boyfriend and your girlfriend and just fight incessantly and then you do black tea. Do you know why? Very little. You may be pouring an ocean of black tea, but it becomes like 1 or 2 drops. Why? You're hypocritical. You're a hypocrite. You're an absolute hypocrite. Why? You're not even helping all sentient beings. And you don't think about all sentient beings. And if you don't think about all sentient beings, how can you check that? Because you can't even think about 1 or 2 beings around you. How? I'm not saying this to criticize any of you. You see, some of you have been with me for many years. Some of you have been with me for many lifetimes. Some of you have been with me for a few years, for many lifetimes. So when I teach you these things, it is in hopes of helping, assisting, and knowledge. So if you have the merits to be here, it is 100% merits. If after today's teaching you go and you keep doing what you're doing, I did my job. Because I was advised by my protector in the hall to advise. 立即有，對吧？聽我冇信信，記住立即有。He was a witness many times to Dharma Protector. Advise your students, advise many times. Advise. I advised until I coughed blood. So, this is horrible. I'm incessantly looking for the page. You guys hate it. But I knew you guys all have phobias. I'm always going to look for a page. It's okay. And I even marked it. Isn't that ridiculous? I wrote it on notation on my own. That was beautiful. Okay. Page 176. Hiroka Vajrasattva practice. Even in the Theravada Vinaya. This is not even Tantrayana Mahayana. This is in the Theravada countries, okay? Lama Yeshe says, even in the Theravada Vinaya, it is explained that whether or not a monk or a nun has broken a vow depends primarily on the mind, not on the object or the external action. All 4 components of the action, motivation, object, action, and completion, must be present for breaking the vows to be complete. The key component is the motivation, how much you are grasping. Listen carefully. The key component is the motivation, how much you are grasping. Very clear. This is Lama Yeshe, right? This is not 10 stupid Rinpoche. Lama Yeshe is a master, a real Gelupa master, real one. How much you grasp. What is grasping? Me. People who are not aware, very clear sign of self-grasping. Me. They always make mistakes, they lose things, they forget things, they make you repeat things, they make you say things over, they burden you, they make problems. When you live with them, they burden you. What is that? Self-grasping mind is so strong. It is so strong. And the people who know things very well, they're very quick, they're very sharp, but they don't share. And they don't give. And they don't let go. It's equal to the other person. You may be very sharp and your partner is very stupid. But if you put your partner down because they're stupid and you're sharp and it comes from a self-grasping mind, you go to hell, not them. Going to hell, or living in hell, or being in hell, or the three lower realms, is totally from grasping, not the action. So as I said, a nun, a monk can have sex, can steal, can run around and do all the things you think that a monk can't do and not break the vows. It's dependent on the motivation. But that's not to say our action is not important. It is important. But I'm telling you on an absolute level. And what makes you break the vow is grasping. From grasping arises a fourth motivation. Intent, motivation, action, object, and completion. Very simple. So when Mukpo or Chugden Trungpa drinks sake all day, is he drinking sake from self-grasping mind? You don't simply say, oh, he's drinking sake for the benefit of all beings, maybe he's collecting the back karma for his students, and blah, blah, blah. Maybe he has waiting energy, and then he can purify. No. It's not that. That is a very small part. What it is Mukpo, Chugden Trungpa, in this case, Chujian Dorje Chang, Song Dorje Chang, His Holiness. His Holiness Dorje Ling Dorje Chang. These masters, it's not what they do, and that they can control their winds, or you can get lineage. It's not that. What it is they exist on an absolute level. The self-grasping mind has been erected. So therefore, whatever they do is just doing. There's no good or bad. It's just doing. It's like a theatrical play. When we make a movie, it looks very real. The people get killed, blood, gore, their head gets cut off. Men make money, they lose money. And, in the movie, actually when we watch good movies, we cry. And then when you cut lights on, everybody, the actors go back, they're bitchy, or whatever, But 1 minute, this woman's like, oh, poor them, they got run over by a truck, and, poor them, and you're crying. But then when they cut the lights and cut the action, the woman gets up, goes to her room, she may be really bitchy. But when you watch the movie, you're so into it, and you're so attached, and you actually cry. And we idolize all this. We idolize people who bring these emotions to us. Why? Because we can relate to that. How can we relate? Self-grasping. Similarly, when we're on this level, we're just like someone watching a movie. It's very real. Very, very real. Totally. So when we cry, or when we laugh, it's grasping. Why? When we regret, it's grasping. Even when we regret the wrong way, it's grasping. Do you know why? You're afraid for yourself. Not for the harm you did. You're afraid for yourself. Even regret and doing actions to purify what you've done wrong is not destroying self-grasping. Do you know why? It's only the lowest scope of practice. Fear for yourself. So when we regret what we did to our boyfriend and girlfriend and husbands and wives and children, maybe we didn't take care of our children, they grew up to be monsters, maybe we can take care of our parents and, we're monsters. It could be anything. When we regret and we cry and we want to do something about it and we're scared, it is still negative action. I'll tell you why. Because you're scared for yourself. It's not for anyone. It's for yourself. It's you. And that's what Tantra explains to us. The real Yamataka, the real Vajradhana, is on the absolute level. No form, no taste, no touch, no sound, no tangibility, yet existence from non-grasping. Dharmakaya. Shugden. People don't understand that. So as long as we keep regretting, crying for the things we did wrong, it's self-grasping. Happy about the good things we do, it's self-grasping. Why are we happy? Oh, I did a good thing, I'm going to be okay my next life. I'm going to be alright. I'm going to be fine. Me. Again. You see, when we do Dharma action, we rejoice. It's not rejoicing about you having a good life. It's rejoicing that you can bring all sentient beings closer to out of grasping. So when we break our vows, and when we keep our vows, either way, with the wrong motivation, we can be grasping. And that's the secret. Because some people are very high and mighty. I don't do anything bad. They're already bad. The minute they say that, the minute they think that, they're already bad. Like I told you about that lady earlier in the Dharma talk, she goes everywhere. She knows everything. She does everything right. But you know what? During a Dharma talk, Mamie told me, it was so funny. Mamie's a very dramatic person. I talked to Mamie the other day for 2 hours. A brand new Dharma student came for teaching. This lady was there, and she had a beautiful, everybody had these cheapskate little bead mandalas, you know, but she was rich in America 20 years ago. She had a silver mandala, not 3 layers, 4. And she had all these jewels and all this stuff. She was like, wow. And she did it perfectly, the mandala, perfectly. We're all like, wow. I was thinking, not that I was thinking, wow, mandala did to me. Thinking, in my grasping mind, I think I can make more merit than her. And she doesn't need more merit, she's rich. I was thinking at that time, oh, rich. I found another information. David's a signatory to a big whatever, but never mind. We'll talk about that another day. He's rich too, in theory. And boy, do I mean that in theory. I wouldn't rest on that one. That's why I'm friends with Max Man, waiting for an uncle to pop off. And then I don't want to go closer to home because it's very rude and abusive, and I might be recorded and they say, look, the family breaker. But in theory, David's rich. That's the way you listen to him when he says the CH, lunch, rich. He emphasizes, especially when he says rich. If I was you, I would sit in a bath. It would be less disruptive to the planet because you're cold, you move this way, and Andy, and you're rubbing his knee, Tashi. There's issues here, I would sit in a bath so you have more compassion. I have quite a loud voice. Oh, you don't fold your hands. Leave I fold the hands of the planet around you. Anyways, she turned around. Oh yeah. So David and then this lady, alright? Seriously. David is a simultaneous story along with Dharma. So we're weaving 3 stories into one, and I'll weave that back into Dharma Pala. Isn't that fabulous? It's fabulous. Why? Don't make borders on your mind. Your mind is like space, Shantideva says. When I heard that, my memory became fabulous. I don't know why. All of a sudden I realized there's no borders to my mind. Okay, anyway. David is rich, but it's a label to me. It's just projection. Because if the supporting factors for there are not there, it's only a theory. But he's been warned. And next time you guys listen to say the word rich and lunch, you listen, he accentuates the last sound very much. Just listen to say rich or lunch. I know. Henry, you're evil. You're trying not to laugh. You're so good, you even respect a little pipsqueak like that. He's just a little pipsqueak anyways. And he's like, Henry's wonderful. He's quite handsome. So you can see everything on his face. He's so politically correct. Look, he bought one of those for the Pakistanis. He's the Bodhisattva man. In Japan, I bought one almost every day and I wore it everywhere. You know why I want to tell people how politically correct that was? Another action that brought me to the pretty lower realm, another self-grasping action. Anyway, there was 1%, oh, let me help them. Because I So what happens with this is, but then if you keep it, you show people it's good too. Wow, it's your motivation, not the action. Isn't that what I talk about? Not the action, not the object motivation. Yeah, that's what I say. I'm slightly hypocritical, not fully. Anyways, we talked about lunch and David and Rich. Okay, that's not okay. I wish your name was like Rich, like Richie Rich, or like Aldrich. Hi, what's your name? Aldrich, and I'm Rich. Oh, you love that? And you want to have lunch with me? What was your name? Aldrich. What do we want to do? Lunch. Why? Because I'm rich. No, that's beautiful. Oh yeah. All right, now. You know what? Paul's not laughing, not moving, not sad, not happy. Paul is just doing meditation on his eyelid. He's good. I'm telling you, he's controlling his face like. Not even one eyelash is closing. He doesn't blink anymore since I clapped his eye. He hasn't blinked once. I've been watching him. He blinked. All right. When I said that, he went like this. Evil. I love it. Anyways, hi Daddy, how are you? It's my daddy. Anyways. This new Dharma student came along to the new course, all blah, 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 blah. Dharma students are wonderful, they're fabulous, they're beautiful, they're compassionate, they're kind, they're bodhicitta, they're in Buddhism, it's Sorenchi, it's a great initiation, we're offering mandala. And this lady was asking questions, what's Sabbath? It's mandala, blah, 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 blah. Lord, this lady was sitting there with her mandala, right? And she was doing it and all that stuff. And then you know what? In the middle of her mandala, she got flustered and she was upset. After, I don't know, 15 years of practice, she turned around to the lady. She put her mandala down, she turned around to the lady and went like this. The lady never came back again. That's all it took. Because it was not only subtly hypocritical. That's all she did. She didn't even say anything. She just went, and she looked at her in the eye. She turned around and looked at her squarely, and she just went. The lady never ever came back. That one action threw her off the Dharma. You think it's her bad karma? Yeah, it's her bad karma, but you don't have to add to it. Someone's sitting there, they're on a beam. There's one mountain, there's one ledge here, and there's one beam here. And they're standing there, and they're juggling. Hey, catch! You don't do that one. They fall off completely. Oh, yes. That one action. They never came back. And that action didn't help. Do you know why? It came out of a self-grasping mind. Because it didn't help that lady. Because some people them do that, and the other person doesn't get affected. You know why some people can do it, they get affected, and some people can't? Because their habituation is self-grasping. Oh, yes. Does everybody understand that? That's all. Don't think the politics just go on here because, we're a bunch of political people. No, every Dharma center, every place, every church, every mosque, every community, every family, everywhere. Even you yourself have politics. You yourself make politics. I can't do this, I can't do this. You protest with yourself. So I gotta because, if we pray to the Buddha, we're against Tibet. Why, I don't know. Nothing on this planet can ever hurt his soul as a Dalai Lama. I'll give you one reason. You don't believe he's a bodhisattva? Never mind. He's a monk. Nothing will harm a monk. That's all. Let's not even talk higher level. He's a monk. And he's a real monk. Second, nothing can bring Tibet back or make Tibet lose its own karma. That's it. We can do all the prayers about Tibet. Nothing will happen. So, there's nothing I can do against Tibet. There's nothing I can do for Tibet. I can only wish. And there's nothing I can do to harm the soul of Dalai Lama. Nothing. Even if I want to. Nothing. How can I harm a holy monk? Where there is no harm, you can't harm them. If I want to go and beat up the Buddha, you think I can? He doesn't have the karma to be beaten up. So I want to give this message to assassins and all these people who carry guns to the Kala Chakra. Yeah, His Holiness caught people with guns in the Kala Chakra. Forget it. It's going to work. You don't have karma to be shot, you won't be shot. Things like that. Not this recent one. Don't get all excited. Gosh, she's like, and the angel's like, oh. Not the recent one. Don't get when I talk about self-grasping and all this, everybody's like, oh. Let's get to the real issue here. Dalai Lama cannot be harmed. Yeah, don't give a, never mind. You can put a torpedo on him. Nothing happened. Nothing. Nothing. Because that happened in Tibet. When they threw bombs, they shelled Ganden. Sonji sat there in meditation and did puja to Dorje Shugden until the monks all escaped out of Ganden. You can read it directly. It's all over. All 3 walls fell. The wall behind him stood. Everything fell. And he did Dorje Shugden puja until the monks were safely out of Ganden monastery. And the fumes from the shells, the toxic fumes, Rinpoche breathed in. He accepted it, and his voice became hoarse. And his voice has been hoarse his whole life, although it's so beautiful. I didn't even know it was hoarse, but that's considered hoarse. He breathed in the fumes. But Khyentse Sonji single-handedly stayed in Ganden and did the repulsion puja of Dorje Shugden to hold back harm until the monks missed. That is well documented. He accepted the harm. He accepted everything with his tantric powers. Oh yes, you can read in biography. The great incarnation of Incarnation. I'm sorry, great Chitin Chinde. Just in Losam Junju, his holy monk name, his holiness Kajit, just in Losam Junju, Khyentse Sonji. And it's incredible, because you know where Sonji is? Wherever his incarnation is alive, there's a lake near where his home original incarnation is in Kham. Namsang in Tibet. Whenever his incarnation is alive, the lake will be full. When the incarnation is past, the lake will dry up. Always, every incarnation. Some lamas, trees will blossom. Bodhi trees, wherever the lama is, the Bodhi tree will just grow and blossom. Some lamas, you hear beams, you hear sounds. So wherever there's a real lama, they have real intention, and their reincarnation is there. Some sign of their reincarnation will be around all the time. Tree is very common, I don't know why. Bodhi tree will appear. Very, very common. Wherever the lama is, naturally, Bodhi tree will grow on its own. Always. That's very well documented. Even Lama Tsongkhapa's case. But it was a white sandalwood Bodhi tree. See, what I do is wherever I go, I just get a little Bodhi tree planted. See, hello! I have a lama seeing group, but nobody knows it. I go out there every night, weed it, put manure, I pee on it myself. I do all kinds of things like a cat, I pee on it, just the right amount, too much. Then it grows big, and I document and tell people, see, I'm a lama, and I even give them leaves. Here's the Bodhi tree from Selfgrasping. I love it. Leaves from Selfgrasping because, and little did they know, God, it was a lot of work making that tree grow. Weeding it, manuring it, and flowering it. Oh my God, every night I'm talking to it. They say when you talk to plants, it grows. Please grow, please grow. So if you don't grow, I'm finished. And if I'm finished, I move out here, you're dead, because the next people won't like Bodhi trees. They like banana trees here. So you better grow. Sometimes you threaten them, but with love. Because if you show a lot of love, they grow. You can ask the rainbow girl, Tashi. She talks to everything, except enemy. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm giving leaves to people who love it. It's proof that I'm a lima. I'm a lima. Or you can call it the other way, a smama. Because lama, smama, a smula. A smulu. Anyways, go back. Mumu, go back. Mumu back, boy. Go back. Mumu stay, Mumu no stay, Mumu back, boy. Zanka, go back. Go back. Zanka back, boy. So, what happens? If on an absolute level, no karma is to be made. On a relative level, plenty to purify. But even when we purify, are we really purifying because of our attitude? And are we really changing our attitude because of our habituation? So every time, this habituation is measured or kept in check for ourselves. From an absolute level to a relative level, it manifests in vows. Vows are a manifestation of the absolute. Let me explain why. It's a manifestation of the absolute because These are things universally on the three realms that if we do, it helps the self-grasping mind to increase. If we don't do, it makes the self-grasping mind decrease. Not stop. Self. Decrease and increase. So it's absolute why these rules are applicable anywhere, any planet, any universe. So that's why it's absolute. Absolute means kaba, all pervading. All pervading. So that's why it's absolute. There is no maybe. The word absolute means that's it. No and and buts. So the vows are a manifestation or a taste of the absolute. And when we hold our vows and commitments and samaya, we get a taste of the absolute because we hold our vows. Listen carefully. We hold our vows in order that we don't have to hold our vows. Isn't that fabulous? Rinpoche was coming up with these lines, one-liners that are opposite of each, totally contradictory, yet totally meaningful. And he's dying to go back there and write that down and email everybody an SMS and say, you're fabulous, give me another praise. I get all these SMSs now, fabulous, I come from a lotus. According to him, I got lotuses growing out of my ass. I'm so holy and pure. I fart, it's a lotus. I don't shit manure or shit, I shit lotuses. According to him, he has this view about me. But anyway, Mabel, of course, oh my goodness. You asked her, is Rinpoche a Buddha? He's not a Buddha, he's 10 Buddhas. About these fans around it. Yeah, JT, he's not a Buddha, he's Buddha's guru. What? Shakyamuni Smuru, you know. He's Shakyamuni Smuru, you know. Even higher than Shakyamuni Gata. You want to go higher? Shakyamuni Smuru. He has an angel? Definitely Rinpoche Takayama. Yama Smaka. Yama Yogini. Yeah, anyway, he's Buddha. Definitely. And Dashi, I believe that Rinpoche is not Tsongkhapa at all. He is Guru Rinpoche. Mimala. And he asks us to call him, Rinpoche Buddha, he doesn't talk, you know why? Because he's very compassionate. If you're compassionate, he's just... Actually, what he's doing is calculating how much he can make if he gives his business trip. You know, it looks like macro. Yeah. Pretty absolute. And then Chow, you gotta wake him up first. And then Paul wakes up. Is he a Buddha? Yeah. Can I go back to sleep? Yes. And while Irene, of course, if she's allowed in my house into the Ladrong and she can prostrate to Jenny, I'm a Buddha. She's not, I'm not a Buddha. No. Because, you know, she's absolute unrelative. Not related, but just a relative. You're not a relative, but relative. You know, let's not get mixed up here. No, I'm not related to Irene. Thank you very much. Let's run around. My previous life and Rinpoche's previous life are related. Previous life, darling. Previous life, not this life. Not this life. I mean, if last life, you know, Jenny Wong and JT here were lovers, doesn't mean they're lovers in this life was. Exactly. In last life, David Lai was some kind of monk that hang around, you know, and held his vows a little bit and studied but didn't do any meditation. Doesn't mean this life he is, right? No, it doesn't. So, vows are a taste of the absolute, and it leads you to the absolute. And it is manifested in the absolute. What is the absolute? I don't like to use big New Age words here. The absolute is the workings of cause and effect in the universe that is dependent on self-grasping mind. And how much? How much the self-grasping mind is existent within us and not purified creates the workings of cause and effect in the universe for us and then interrelated. Because we're interconnected. On the third watch of the night, our second watch of the light, Lord Buddha realized our interconnectedness. You guys all know that from the previous teaching. See, when we listen to Dharma talks, we can listen to more Dharma talks. It's better. And then, on the absolute level, how much self-grasping, how much negative karma we create, even when we do nothing. And you think, oh my God, why is it so severe? It's not severe. Buddha didn't make these rules up. Buddha perceived these rules through his enlightenment. On the last watch of his life, and explained it to us. Isn't that incredible? So the vows are a glimpse of the absolute. You take vows in order you don't have to hold vows anymore. Why? When you hold your vows so well, you become absolute. So everything is just a show, a manifestation. And whether they can see the show or not, if they bought the ticket, that's a level. Oh yeah, some people don't buy the ticket. The ticket of the 6-part ethos. The ticket of Guru devotion. The ticket of practice. Some people don't even buy the ticket. Some people buy the ticket and fall asleep at the theater. Some people lose their ticket. Some people arrive at the ticket late. Some people go to the show and they look at it, they don't understand what's going on. Well, only if it's butterfly, somebody will understand that. Oh yeah, isn't that incredible? So when we talk about esoteric practices, the absolutes, very few people will attend. Very few people can attend. Very few people will make it. And the few people who make it, very few will understand. And very few within that will be able to practice. And that is the rarity of enlightenment in the Buddha. And that's why we're so revered the Buddha. So when we look back in our lives now, how much have we actually practiced? Don't look at the retreats we've done. Don't look at, the mantras you've done and whatever you've given, the money, all that. Don't look at that. Look at how much your self-grasping mind has reduced. Very simple. So, I'm not telling you something to criticize you. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not telling something for you to feel bad and guilty about. I'm telling you real practice. I'm not telling you anything that is to hurt you, but it is to help. Because somebody has to be in your firing line. Somebody has to put themselves in your firing line and tell you there's something more. That actually we're not very good people. I've got to be the Jesus Christ of Buddhism here, right? Get the cross out, I'll carry it across Bali Rukama, you can pin me up in one Rukama near the gym. Make sure my love handles are gone. Who's love it? The Jesus Christ of Buddhism. And then, just before I pop off, absolutely forgive them, they don't know what they're doing. Isn't that fabulous? I love it. Everything's got to be dramatic with me. I don't know. I'm a reincarnation of a Tibetan kabuki actor or something like that. That's what I feel. Tibetan kabuki. I used to pummel Tibetan show. So I think I'm one of those guys who wear those masks. Mahakal mask comes out with a knife and I chop out and stuff by accident. It's a poor thing. It's win-win off. But in Tibet, you don't die when you win off. They just forgive you. Then I do about stuff to treat with bad motivation, right? Isn't that fabulous? Pummel tupu. Any questions on the absolute? No, absolutely not. Joseph, any questions on the absolute? You like in-depth teaching? You do? You're educated. You can think. You, Mr. Kong, Sing Q, Paul, Al Paul. If it's a Mandarin, maybe you'll be saying, ooh, it's me. When Andy doesn't have a question, you need to shut up. Rimiji did well. That's my relative level example that I checked on the absolute. Gonga is big. He just wonders if his hair looks good. He does. Henry, any questions? Oh, come, we've got to speak up. Make one up. Pretend you don't know something. Just pretend. For the sake of TV, pretend you don't know. Sure, Mitchie.
Yeah, you were talking just now about the lady. Now, if her motivation was, the action was wrong, but if she did not shut the speaker from behind, and the speaker, the person behind will be continuing talking and will be distracting the whole time. So, the action was wrong, but
my point was this. Do it in a way that's very nice.
But we are talking about motivation.
We are, but is she so advanced that she can just do anything she wants because her motivation is so pure? So my point point is this: what you do doesn't matter. Some people shout, and people benefit. Some people shout, and they lose. Why? It's habituation and motivation. They feel. So if you go to someone, and you've always been doing that for many lifetimes or many years, purely people can feel it. So what I'm saying is, yes, it is the motivation, but how long have you been practicing that motivation to activate that in such a useful? You understand? Very good question. Henry spoke up. Let it be written in the Akashic Sacred Records. Henry spoke up during the Dharma talk. First time in 6 years. Thank you, Henry. We want more. Yes, we want more. Any questions on absolute? Don't ask us to be smart.
No, but this is what I'll always ask myself. It's maybe very stupid.
Can you just ask me? Let's make it quick without a lot of
So
explanation.
how did all the relative and the different notions, how did it all get started? Why did it all get activated? And then the self and the notion of self.
That's a very good question. What it says in Buddha's teachings at our level is that there's no beginning but there's an end. Meaning that it is so distant and so far that we've been living like this, is that there's no beginning. So he's telling us like this: don't deal with that at this point. Deal with the fact that there is an end. That's what he's saying. Good question. But a lot of people can't accept that yet. Never mind. Questions? Very distant, very far. It's like, tell me the atoms that exist in the ocean. Tell me. Do you think anybody on this planet can calculate? It's beyond. It's beyond mathematics. Tell me the amount of atoms that exist in all of the universe, and I'll tell you when your first copy is. It's beyond comprehension. Beyond. Only a fully enlightened Buddha can talk to another fully enlightened Buddha and converse and understand. We're not at that level yet. That's a small mystery Buddhism. So if you want to talk about that, you have to have the mind to comprehend it. If you want to talk about physics with me, you have to be a physics professor. Otherwise, there's no level. No grounding. Questions? All right. When you go upstairs to the second level, there's a gym room there, and inside is a toilet. You may use that. Don't look at the lights are red in my gym room. The reason the lights are red is that I can't see myself well when I'm working out, so I have the illusion that I'm skinny. Well, it's true. You have David. He taught me work out many times. It's called the red room, or the red light district. There's a toilet there you can use. And if you go straight to the back, in the drying area, be careful of the newspapers with all the gifts. There's another toilet. And for some of us who are very devoted to the three jewels, body, speech, and mind, offer some incense also. And for the rest of us, please not chitter and chatter. Stay quiet with yourself. Be happy with quiet. Be concentrate. Get a glass of water or whatever like that. There's no slaves in the house, so help yourself. One slave is doing a retreat. Another slave has never come out of retreat. And then that's all the slaves I have. You see what I do is I hire myself as a maid and I pay myself, but I pay myself American wages. Isn't that better? Fabulous. So let's all stand up, take a break, and I'll come back. I'm glad we're able to talk about the vows. We'll talk about the absolute and how they relate. Because the actual practice of the Dharma, the short sadhana and the retreat is very easy. But you see, to do it, you have to have that understanding. Not have understanding, just chant. Very little bit. And don't you use this? Very small. And I didn't get into it fully. I just told you a little part what I'm allowed to tell you. You know, esoteric, secret mantric teachings, Shambhala, Shanghala, whatever. Always just a trick to get money. You should love it. Throw me an ang-pao, and I'll plant the seeds to get initiation in the future. Not this life, next life, whatever, but definitely. Just throw them on top. The thicker, the heavier, the harder it comes on my table, the stronger your influence. You should love that. And the David's like, how about if I throw a rock in an ang-pao? Doesn't count. If you weren't attached, if you don't have a self-grasping mind, then you can visualize the rock is gold and you throw it on my table and say, oh, you get initiation. See, it's not the rock, it's your self-grasping mind. So some people can offer $1 million to the Lama and gain very little attainments. Some people can simply hold their anger and not get angry, and not abuse people, and offer that to the Lama, and they'll gain attainments, and not create more obstacles to their practice. You see, when people want to do Dharma work, they do work that is opposite, they create a lot of obstacles to their Dharma. A lot. Broken vows that create obstacles. And they say, well, I'm doing this for the Dharma, I'm doing this for this person, I'm doing this for that person, I'm doing it for this group. They are, and they're sincere. Everybody's sincere. Everybody likes to help, especially, if we're nice people. But you can't fulfill your work because your broken smiles don't allow you to collect that much money. Because if you help, you don't be such a big hero of a knight in shining armor. If I make this amount of money, if I do this kind of writing, if I do this kind of, assistant, if I'm an assistant to Roshi, I can collect all this merit. And then I can dedicate it to all sentient beings. And if I don't do it, it's the sentient beings who don't have the merit to receive it. Don't be so stupid. Don't be so stupid. Don't be so illiterate. That is incorrect. And if I debate with you, you'll lose immediately. But very simply to say, if you're doing Dharma work, and whether beings can receive it or not, it will mean you have some level of attainment. You're operating on some level from the absolute. If you're not operating from the absolute and you say that, you are presupposing and you're giving the message to other people that, oh, they don't have the karma to receive it, that's why I can't get it to give it to them. Oh, no. Then what about the Dalai Lama? Why does he even bother with his teachings? Do you think everybody who attends Kala Chakra, 400,000 people, will practice and come with us? No. Far from it. In fact, there are people at Kala Chakra in the back drinking tea and doing dancing. Grow up. Yeah, we see. A Bodhgaya and attend there in back playing mahjong. Yeah, Tibetan mahjong. Oh. And they during the Kala Chakra is holding this higher as a speech teaching. And they're sitting there gambling, playing, dancing, taking a nap, because you know what? The strings and the microphones, everything, they just hear Tibet, they get a blessing. That's what Tibetans believe. But that's ignorance. Then you can ask him, he knows. Tibetans aren't the holiest people on the earth, but they have holy people. So my point is this, that if we do Dharma work, and we do anything with the intent of helping Dharma, you have to have merit yourself in order to have the merit to serve others so that you can create more merit and that they can create merit. If you don't even have merit to do that, how do you create the opportunity for other people to do Dharma? You can't. Why? To serve Ganden Monastery. That's how I think. That's what the protector told me in person. Oh, no, it's not. I didn't channel and I talked to myself. Oh, hello, hi, how are you? How are you? Did you have a cup of coffee, Dia? No, I didn't. I'm kind of thirsty. No, it's not that. In a monastery with a proper oracle. He told me, do your retreats and do your sadhanas. Out of the 4 classes of Tantra, you should take 1 Dharma Yidam and practice that intently. By doing that, you will be able to serve God. I said, oh, I understood now. What is that? Hold my commitments. Dorje Puntu, he said, the Vajra command of your Guru. Dorje Puntu is the eternal knot. No end, no beginning. Dorje is Vajra. Means the Lama's word has no beginning and no end. But if you make it an end, you use. So what the protector told me, because I was overwhelmed with sadhanas, I said that. I was trying to go to him and I was crying wolf, and I was like, oh, poor me, I have so many sadhanas, I want to do other ones, and I blah, blah, blah. He told me, no. He told me himself, I am a Dharma protector, but I have no authority to override the command of your Lama. And he said, if you do your sadhana daily, your Dharma work will grow, you'll collect the merits, and you'll keep your samadhi. You'll be a good example to many beings in the future. Do your sadhana. I went home. Went home to do my 50 hours of sadhana again. Well, yeah, that's after I tried to get out of it. And I even used evidence. I found books in this commentary, that commentary. They said, you can combine all your yidams into one and do that sadhana, and that means you do, actually, I did research. I'm not kidding. And it was accurate. Listen to this. I asked Zaki Rinpoche. He was so confounded. I did such good research. He was so confounded he couldn't say yes or no. Can you imagine that? Lucky-Uji. Little stupid pipsqueak here, which lucky, like a little mouse going to the line. And the line's like, roar, and says, I'm not sure about that, so you better keep doing it because I'm not sure. And I went to the other line, and the great Singhi Foundation, I would say, His Holiness Cancer Issue. Cancer Issue is like, that sounds very good. He couldn't say yes or no. He said, but since I cannot say yes or no, you have things to do yourself. I said, oh. But they won't even try to humor me. They really said very good research, because I research everywhere. You can combine all the meditational states. And it says that Yoshikawa Sengatsu's Vajugini commentary. It says that directly in English. It says that directly. And I found it. After I did all this research, I said, look. And then I went there with all this evidence, because I'm Spanish. I went there with all this evidence in Latin and Gene, and he says it's very good. He says, but I can't say, you don't have to do it. And then I went to Cancer G, and he also said, okay, let me go to Manjushri now. So I went to Manjushri, which was really wrong because they are Manjushri. And then I went to the Protector Trance, and he told me, yeah, it's very good, but I cannot override the Vajra command of your loved ones in a way. And he cut all my research away. Weeks of research, meditating, thinking how to formulate it. And Yudin said, these are debate masters. So I went back and did my sadhana. All 55 of them, all 100, whatever it is. I can't remember all the idams I had. It's just too many. And I said to them, you know what? Some of these idams, I don't even know what they look like. There's 100 plus every day. Can you imagine doing 100 plus idams every single day? Because some schmuck or some Joe might come up and say, hey, you know, I do this practice. And even not doing it, you can't get it done. Oh, God. And sometimes at the end of your life, you think to yourself, nobody came and asked me for that practice. Why did I even do it? But on the absolute, it's different, isn't it? So anyways, in my own example, it was like that. And I'm still trying to figure a way out. Because I have one practice that's very long from the Dalai Lama. And I was thinking for a few months now, calm. Make a lot of offerings, far private holiness, that I think, how that work. How long? Maybe get yourself in a really good mood, And so, how the Tibetan situation. And can I stop doing that sadhana? Sure. I was thinking, fantasy, fantasy. Make yourself into a nice cup of Tibetan tea, and I don't know. Wear this shirt when I go see him. I don't know, just and then slip it in, You can't stop it real sadhana. You'd be like, yeah, it's okay. And by the way, the Tibetan situation is like, oh no, I'm calm. Trying to trick a all-knowing one. Trying to trick a bodhisattva. And here I am, just plotting how to get rid of this one sadhana that's very long. That I've been doing for the last 20 years, and I think, why don't I just let go and say, just do a lot. And I can, I learned speed reading so I can do it real quick. I do it real quick, real fast. It takes the mantra hours to recite. I can do it really fast. I'm not kidding you. Speed reading. I'm like, they're like, you're done? I'm like, yeah. Anyways, that's the truth. So, when we do our sadhanas, it's on a very basic, fundamental level. It's a reminder for us to keep our vows. Six-session Guru Yoga, especially if we have tantric initiation. When we do our six-session Guru Yoga, we're reminded of our vows. And when we keep our vows, and we hold that every single day, and we do nothing else, do you know how much merit we collect? Do you know why we collect so much merit? Because when we hold our vows, it takes us away from the self-grasping mind. When we take ourselves away from the self-grasping mind, that taking away collects oceans of merit. So holding vows, holding samaya and commitments, holding it and doing nothing else, and living in the vows, collect ocean of merit effortlessly. Why? Because that is one day you have restricted yourself from the self-grasping mind. And if you're not holding your vows perfectly, you slip. At least it's neutral. That day you don't collect negative emotions. That's why reading the vows is so important, following is so important, and practicing the vows with the very people who live with us is instrumental. Practicing the vows with the very people we live with every day is instrumental. Do you know why? It will show you whether you're really taking refuge or not. vows daily. We really are, not physically, effortlessly. And the people around us will enter the Dharma. So no point to wish to pray and want people to enter the Dharma. Even if, they're our closest people that live with us. They can live with us for 10, 15, 20 years. They will not go near the Dharma or practice. Why? We are that person who they're on a balancing beam. Like on a circus, they have a balancing rope. They're holding it. And we just tip the scale the wrong way. We are like that. So we live in a family and we can't bring people to Dharma that reflects our own mind. Clearly, yes, there are circumstantial things such as their own karma, blah, blah, blah. But usually, let's put it this way. I know me, by hook or crook, somehow we get into Dharma in many ways. I'm not trying to show off to you. I'm trying to tell you that I put my energy towards that as well. I can yell at a person, they'll come to Dharma. I can slap a person, they'll go to Dharma deeply. I'll tell you why, because I'm a master no. Because I put my energy toward that my whole life. I can collect merits by doing exercises upstairs. And when it gets hard, when the weights get very hard, or when the diet gets hard, I just think about it. And why I'm keeping myself there. Why? Immediately, my mind becomes strong. Am I trying to tell you that I'm some kind of master? No. I'm trying to tell you that I do my best to live Dharma because there's nothing else to live for. Nothing else. I'm very suicidal. I'll kill myself if it wasn't for Dharma. What else is there to do? Sit here and watch any tickets? No, thank you. No. Watch Irene find different objects. She's got 5 objects of refuge. Nama Guru Be, Nama Buddha, Nama Dhamma, Nama Sangha, Nama Janiya. So I don't have time to watch, people look for extra objects of refuge. And of course, Jenny, being a wonderful bodhisattva she is, instead of standing there accepting it, oh, Mani, and she runs all over the place, I don't know, I'm on a drag race.
So don't do anything that will bring you away from the absolute and closer to self-grasping mind, because the 3 lower realms is even worse for tantric practitioners. There's a special hell for them. It's called Dorje Shugden. Very scary.
Swamiji described to us in detail. Very scary. And there are Yamataka practitioners who are born again in the form of Yamataka, that is spirits medicine, tricking them and disturbing them, hurting them. This is all the Swamiji told us. Imagine taking on the form of Yamataka where you're a spirit and you deceive people and you talk to them and you lead them wrongly because of your negative, grasping mind. Imagine that. Think that he's a Buddha? Yeah, but you're not. Very scary. So if we don't hold our vows and commitments, 50 verses of Guru devotion, of tantric and our bodhisattva vows, and we don't keep our basic commitments and basic promises, things that we want to achieve worldly and for Dharma, very difficult. If we want to achieve just for worldly, strictly for worldly, you will achieve it. I'll tell you why. Negative karma helps negative karma. Very simple. And you will never get anywhere with it. Never. Never. And if our lives, when we try to do things for Dharma, we fail or something doesn't happen, let me tell you something directly. It's a blessing. Because if you continue, it will be the 3 lower realms. It's a blessing. It's a wake-up call to the Dharma. Practice the Dharma. It's a wake-up call from your protector who actually loves you. And that's why they protect you. Hold your commitments, hold your vows, hold your smiles. Read upon them, learn about them. And don't be chauvinistic, and don't be boisterous, and don't be holier than thou about it. In your body, in your speech and mind, it can be observed when you're holding the vows. Really. Start with the people that live right with you. Be aware. Be kind. Forgive. Accept. And don't demand. If we harm the people that are close to us and they stop practicing Dharma in any way, we collect the alcohol. We have the cost. And if we want to do Dharma work, anytime, big or small, obstacles will always come, or we won't be allowed to do it, or we can't do it because of our obstacles coming back to us. So So we want to do, if we feel we're very qualified, and most of us are, and we want to do Dharma work, and we're not doing it, and we can't do it, we're not allowed to do it, we have obstacles to it. It's our broken gospel. And simply confessing them will not go away. Why? Confessing is recognizing them, but it affects us so that we'll get them. And for those of us who want to do big Dharma work, and we find obstacles in doing it, breaking commitments is a very big issue. So remember, it's not just Dharma commitment, it's also commitments to our families, to our parents, to our wives, to our husbands. Those commitments when we break, then it's karmic too. You know why? It's not as strong as Dharma commitments, because Dharma commitments benefit all sentient beings. Commitments to our family members or people that are close to us are not as strong because it's in relation to one person, and hence object, motivation, action, object, and completion, object. So if we make a promise to our wife and we break the promise, it's very bad karma. It is. But it's not as bad as if we break it to our guru or to the Buddha's wife. Because it's to our wife one is to all sentient beings. So the effect is very great. So every time we break our karma to our guru, break our commitments to our guru, you think that, oh God, you know why? Yeah, but you see, you wanted the benefits. When you were in trouble, you wanted the guru, you wanted the practice. But when you're out of trouble, you don't want it. But you have to understand, trouble comes and goes. So you have to be prepared. If you hold your vows, you have to be prepared. Stinginess must be let go. Miserliness, attachment to money must be let go on a very fundamental basis. Must be. If we don't do anything about it, we hold on to it. We'll be free all else. It's not a joke. Anger from projections and expectations of people around us and how we expect them to be. Not anger from compassion. And none of us here is that qualified. Anger from expectation and projections will take us directly to Nara, the hell of unending pain. Directly. Or we'll be born in our next life with dark, ugly, unhappy complexion. Complexion doesn't mean skin or energy. And our appearance will be unhappy, displeasing, and we will have defects, and we will have short limbs, and we will have bodies that are not pleasing to others. Will be a direct result of anger. Right? And for anger that's continuous at people and hurts them, whether it's manifested or not, will be born in war-torn areas, difficult to get food areas, difficult to live areas, places that doesn't support life, places that you're born as barbarians, born forests. Again and again and again will be a result of our anger that we do not control, that arise from expectation and projections, which arise from the self-grasping mind. It's horrible. Whether you express it or not, the anger is there. Living is already dangerous. Not living is already dangerous. You say, I kill myself, it's so hard. You can. You can kill your body, you can't kill yourself. Because killing yourself is a sign of the self. Killing yourself is a sign of attachment to the self. Very clear. And how do you kill the self? Yamataka can't kill yourself. He's so fierce with so many weapons, 34 weapons. Yamataka can't kill yourself. How can you? But he can show you the way. And hence all his weapons. This side is all weapons to destroy obstacles. This side is all weapons to increase and enhance practice. Oh, there's different meanings to it. Incredible. 16 to cut, 16 to increase. Lord Yamataka. Well, we can't talk about that too much because you're not initiated. Love it. Where there's no Dharma, let there be the Dharma. Where there's Dharma, let it become strong. Where there's misunderstanding Dharma, let it become clear. Where there is no Dharma, let it be the Dharma. Where there is Dharma, let it become clear. Where there's a misunderstanding of Dharma, may it become understood. Again, where there is no Dharma, let there be the Dharma. Where there is Dharma, let it become stronger. Where there's a misunderstanding of Dharma, let it become clear. Where there is Dharma, where there is no Dharma, let it be Dharma. Where there is Dharma, let it become stronger. Where there's a misunderstanding of Dharma, let it become understood and clear. 到这里你上一点问题，参加者不能搞不懂，结果解释过程中，三点努力是要去修。Okay. Take a break.